Next, we have the issue of what witnesses had reported during the immediate aftermath of the shooting. Many witnesses reported more than one shooter, which is why both the police and the media had originally reported that they were looking for a possible second or third suspect. It is important to keep in mind that in the case of a false flag operation, the majority of people involved in the situation may not even know the truth of what is really going on. That is to say that they, too, believe the situation to be a real event. An important element in executing operations, especially covert operations, is the idea of compartmentalization, the strategy of only providing enough information on a need-to-know basis or enough information for someone to carry out their specific task. The fact that many witnesses believe there to be more than one shooter, either through what they saw or heard, may indicate that there was more than one shooter during the course of this operation, and after talking with the FBI and other police, they decided to go along with the story and kind of change their story to form around what they were told was the truth. Now, if we look here, they over and over talk about the semi-automatic guns that were fired, except that now we learn that he did not have an AR-15 assault rifle. He only had the shotgun and a handgun. Next, we're going to see from some witnesses.
The first frantic calls to police came in just after 8:15 a.m. Shots fired. Several people injured at the U.S. Navy Yard.
I heard 3 shots. Pow, pow, pow. 30 seconds later, I heard 4 more shots, and a couple of us that were in the cafeteria knew they were shots, and we started panicking.
Now, it's important to look at her, and she is reporting that she hears pow, 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 and she's describing an assault rifle, a semi-automatic weapon that they kept repeating over and over. And now we learn that he did not have that. He only had a shotgun, which could not shoot that way, and a pistol.
I know that I lost a friend today. I lost someone who I had served with in the Pentagon years ago with, I believe, to be one of the fatalities.
Now, I want to point out the lack of emotion, first of all, or adrenaline coming from all of these victims or the witnesses of the shooting in the building. I think that that is important to recognize that most people would have at least adrenaline running through them. Second of all, as we look at this guy and the next woman, we see that they cannot describe what he's wearing or really what he looks like. They have very general terms in terms of how they're describing the shooter and what they're saying about the situation and the event as it took place.
Around the corner, he aimed his gun at us, and he fired at least 2 or 3 shots.
3,000 people work at the facility just miles from the White House and the Capitol.
He was far enough down the hall that we couldn't see his face, but we could see him with the rifle, and he raised and aimed at us and fired, and he hit high on the wall.
Security was tightened around the capital city. Schools locked down. Reagan National Airport grounded all air traffic. 9:56 a.m. President Obama is briefed by his Homeland Security and counterterrorism team. Eyewitnesses like Commander Tim Juris told...
Again, here we have Commander Tim Juris reporting on what he heard and saw and witnessed. And keep in mind that he describes how he was just like this, 3 feet away when the man got shot, supposedly in the head.
Horrific tales. Juris was talking to a man who was shot right in front of him.
He walked up and told me that he heard that there was a shooter in our building. And we were just standing here maybe 3 feet away having a conversation, and then we heard 2 more gunshots, and he went down, and that's when I ran.
The reports of the victims, it had to be a semi-automatic because they're talking about gunshots that they heard in rapid succession.
Now, the doctor at the hospital where most of the victims was taken, she repeats over and over about this semi-automatic weapon that we have now come to learn did not exist. So this is a little bit suspicious in terms of what the agenda was in reporting whether or not or what type of weapon
President
was
Obama
used.
called the shooting a cowardly act.
We are confronting yet another mass shooting. And today it happened on a military installation in our nation's capital. We will do everything in our power to make sure whoever carried out this cowardly act is held responsible.
D.C.'s mayor doesn't think the shootings are tied to terrorism, but the police still don't have a motive.
We now have a total of 13.
And again, we can see at the bottom of this screen that the police are looking for a possible second suspect, and there was a talk of a third one, and this is based on reports from witnesses, and we later find out that apparently all of these witnesses were just happened to be wrong, that there was only one shooter in the building at the time.
Fatalities, including the shooter. We had one additional since the shooter. We had one fatalities, including the shooter. We had one additional since we last